Hey guys, you're tuned back into Chaotic TV. We're bringing you Game 2 of the finals from IEM Katowice. This is a TVP on Cloud Kingdom for Game 2. Not that it wasn't a TVP in Game 1. But in the top right, we're just going to jump into it. The Bread Protoss, he's changed his colors from the last game, but he plays for Team LGIM. He is first. His opponent in the bottom left, the Blue Terran this time, playing for Team MVP. He is Dream. I love the alternate angles on the zoom in for that kind of play because the Terrans just look so much more interesting from the left and the Protoss so much more interesting from the right. But we saw that Dream went forward with a push that was more for pressure. If it got, if it killed, it would have been great. If it didn't, it would have given him time to build that third base that we saw him constructing on Antigua Shipyard. But first, turn the whole thing around, and with continuous warp ends and continuous pressure, he was able to route Dream back all the way up into his main base, and the SCV pull was ineffective, to say the least, and essentially just, was the clincher, so he had to tap out in the game and see what he could do. Now, this is a best-of-5 series, just like all of the other ones. It's not a best-of-7, which would have been a little bit more crazy if it were allowed to be a best-of-7 like IPL. And oh, speaking of which, I bought my ticket last week. I'm so stoked. I know I said it in the previous semis cast, but I'm so stoked about going to IPL. I love live events, live music, live sports, and especially live esports. You get to hang out with a whole lot of nerds that don't chide you for loving the video games like we all do. If you paid the money to be there, you do love video games. Or you're a girlfriend of a very lucky nerd. Now we're going to have to wait again for these two players because they showed in the last game that they can at least do 2 bases before they move forward. And first showed that he's very powerful on 2 bases, doing those continued 7-gate warp ends. It's pretty much the only thing you can support on 2 bases as a Protoss is 7 gateways with continual production. If you have all of your gases and minerals saturated and the lines of minerals saturated. But Dream's getting to see everything, seeing that there was one assimilator put down long before the other ones, and it's probably going to be used for that warp gate and a first stalker that's going to be chrono boosted out to send across the map. But Dream right now is probably going to drop a command center as we see him saving up that money, and he was able to put that down on the low ground, which is going to save him a little bit of travel time from the high ground. That is safer, but does take longer to put down your first mule because you end up having to put your mule down here and then lift and then send it over here, which mines out your main mineral line a little bit quicker than it would be normally. At least one of the patches will have been mined. I think it's 300 minerals. But we do have an eBay block over here by Dream. This is pretty big. It's going to block first Nexus, and if he goes for this third over here, he's going to find it really hard pressed to not put down a second Nexus before he continues his production. If he just goes for production over here and up here, there's such long distance that is right here is actually going to really hurt him. So if he waits to put down this engineering bay, he'll be safer in the long run, having his 2 bases really close together and all his production facilities right next to each other, divided only by this ramp. But he is going to be much further behind than the Terran player who's already put down his command center. But he is supply blocked because he's waiting for that command center to come up. He didn't want to spend an extra $100 on another $100 minerals on another supply depot before he needed it, essentially because the command center would have just stacked on even more extra supply. As you can see in the top left, he's got 10 out of that command center, and he's already using it up only very slowly as a couple of Marines and SCVs come out. Now we see that there's a little bit of a skirmish going on between these stalkers and the Marines, and another stalker over here is probably going to clinch the fact that these Marines need to get going home, because he's going to be able to micro both of them away and save both of these stalkers even before the Marines start to die off, which, as you can see, these stalkers are going to be able to... Oh, is he going to get one? He did get one, but he cost himself 6 Marines out of that whole fight, and he's going to get this last one before the stalker is able to survive with 3 hit points. And we see that there's a Marine and a probe occupying the respective Zelnaga towers on each side of the map, and the supplies are dead even, but we are seeing that the tech is started for Dream, and the tech for LGIM's first is already underway, getting that safety observer. If you don't get the observer and you just go for Marauder, or you go straight into the robotics bay, then you're a little bit quicker on the Colossi reduction, but you are so less safe not having that observer out. Now Dream, on the other hand, is really, really good at spotting observers even when they are stationary. If they're pointed the other way, you still can see the twirl of the invisible pulse generator or whatever drives these observers in the Protoss technology chain. We do see that there is a robotics bay coming out, and First is going again for that Colossus tech that didn't really serve him all that great. The Archons were so much more effective in that last game, but the Colossi are kind of a bridge gap until I don't think that's the right phrase. I'm going to use it. Bridge gap. You know what I mean by context. It's a bridge until you get to that later stage Templar tech. The players who go for the Templar tech earlier against a biocentric play are good against medevacs, but they will lose in the overall production of things that shoot, like stalkers and zealots and stuff like that, or attacking units, direct damage units. The Templar are an indirect damage unit via storms, and feedbacking the medevacs limits the Terrans player for stim capabilities. But we do see a little bit of a push coming across the map for Dream right now. He's probably just going to do a little bit of pressure, clear out this Zelnaga tower, and it looks like this probe is going to be saved by running away. But will this Marine, when it uses this Zelnaga tower, it sees that the probe was there, and will it chase the probe? No, he's just going to send all this stuff right back over here. Keep it kind of blocking this ramp, and he does have it moving forward. He's going to take out these rocks, because when you have a large army as a Zerg or as a biocentric Terran, even as a meching Terran, the units on a meching side take up so much space, and you really don't want to be choked up in this little area like the Protoss are. If you are the Protoss or the Defender, you do want those choke units so that the Colossi and their splash damage and even storms can just melt away whatever units are stuck right in here. And it looks like Dream is taking a little bit of an army supply lead by about 11, but the economy is kicking in really, really well for First, because even though he doesn't have mules, he has a pretty steady income, and he has those double upgrades that are really good. He's kind of being greedy, going for this Colossus tech and the double upgrades. Has really limited his on-ground army presence. He only has the 3 gateways, so if he is unable to reinforce after a first engagement, even if he wins, he's probably going to have a lot more trouble than the Terran player. Although the course Dream only has 3 barracks right now, he's probably going to kick into high gear building those production facilities really soon. Now he does have the supply lead right now. He's going around for the 3rd. If he goes for a drop, he might be actually pretty well. Even against these 4 stalkers, they'll be able to pick off one of the medevacs, but not all of them. We do see that 2 medevacs are going to go into the main base, and it looks like he's going to send another unit down here to either continue the drop, or he's going to be able to do a multi-pronged attack with this drop. Is he? Okay, there he is, sending in the drop, and he is going to send these to the forward. So it's going to be hard for me to match both of them. He sees that he's completely shut down right there, and all of his forces are completely out of the way, because he does not have blink on these stalkers. And even though they are doing a great job killing off the units that are right here, the Colossi can move up into the main base. He's already pulled his probes, and it looks like not too many workers have been killed by Dream. Dream is killing off a huge amount of this army that First has, and he's continuing to push forward and lifts when there are even more Colossus on the map that are killing off the units that he has, continuing to drop. These forces have about a medevac apiece, and he's going to continue to drop from the units that he brought up from the low ground, and running away with these 4 medevacs is going to be able to really assist his units that are coming in behind. You see he's already got some on the map right now, and First, again, with those 3 gateways, even though he's backed it up to 5, he has not had the income right now to really start reinforcing these Colossi. If they get caught out in the open by even a small amount of units, they can do a little bit of damage, but they can die very quickly if they're not at all micro back. Now Dream is taking a severe supply lead right now. It's 20%, excuse me, it's over a 1/4%, 125% more than First is what I'm trying to say. And First is continuing to warp in, but he does not have the income that those mules are giving Dream. As you can see, he's got about 800 minerals more, especially with the extra mineral line that is going for him right now. He's keeping First from taking a 3rd base. You can see this probe wants to put it down, but he's not going to be able to with this Marine that's continuing to do some damage. A great snipe on the observer right there, and it looks like he's going to do another double-pronged attack. The Colossi over here are going to try to do what they can to adjust themselves and look up, but it's only going to be the stalkers and sentries that are shooting that factory. And we have this other medevac. There it is. It's all the way, taking the very long way around, just in case there's an observer. And it looks like this Nexus is wanting to be put up. You can see how much money he's saving and not putting it into drop protection with even more stalkers. You can see how many medevacs, Marauders were in that medevac, and it looks like First is going to start taking his third. But there's going to be some serious posturing between these two players as they dance back and forth between the third and Natural of Dream. Dream is doing what he can to keep reinforcing. He's already got a Ghost of the Academy coming in. We have more Colossi coming in. We have also more Vikings coming in for the Terran player. He's going to be able to drop in the back here whenever his army does attack at the front. And these rocks are still here, which is going to be a big problem for Dream, and not such a big problem for First. But it looks like these Marines keep killing off his Nexus building probes, and he doesn't want to drop that Nexus before he's sure that he can keep it, because every time, if he drops a Nexus and Dream runs up here and cancels it, then that's a loss of 100 minerals that First can really not spare right now. He's banking up a little bit of gas. You see he had to cancel that right there. He dropped the medevac full of Marauders and Marines, and he's just going to be able to kill off a number of these units. These Vikings are already taking out the Colossus. As you can see, he's lost 2 of them so far, and the supply count is so far ahead in Dream's favor. I think he's going to be able to take this, especially with this huge amount of Marauders he's got right here. He's going to be able to slow down any charging Zealots coming in at them and take them out, or take out the Stalkers and the Colossi with very, very quick and effective ease. The Marines are what he needs to keep reinforcing here. He's going to take out these rocks that he's been poking at for a couple of minutes now, and it looks like the misplacement of First's units are going to allow the Dream to run right into the Natural with this very, very superior force. We can see that First is trying to come back, but he's already going to have to run through Dream's units to get back home, and Dream's spreading out his units to go for a better concave. Even on this ramp, the Zealots are going to start melting away as he continues to micro back. The medevacs are half energy, 2 of them, and almost no energy on the other 2. And it looks like his army supply is just really going to be what starts melting away these Stalkers. He does not have the money. First doesn't have the money to continue warping in the Zealots. It's a really bad warp-in spot for them, and the Vikings are continuing to take their toll against these Colossi. It looks like the high Marauder count is just melting away all of the armored units of a Protoss player, and it looks like MVP Dream is going to tie up the series 1-1 in Game 2 on Cloud Kingdom. Now, just wanted to fix something I said in the first game. LGIM First does not actually have a Twitter account, so we can't plug him, but we're going to jump into Game 3 and watch these 2 awesome players continue the finals of IEM Katowice from Chaotic TV. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon.